Daf Nun Aleph Amud Aleph, 45 lines down, Itmar. Right, we know you can't scam people, but what if you tell them you're scamming them? Does that transaction go through or not? If someone tells us, I'm selling you this item and you cannot claim fraud against me, does that work or not? So let's see. Rav says, Yesh Lavana, the guy can still claim a refund. Shmuel in Lavana, the guy agreed, no problem. Not the condition works. Then Rav the market be Meir, Shmuel the market be Udam. It said Rav holds like a Meir and Shmuel holds like a Udam because why the time of right up. Hamar Ali Shah, someone tells a woman, Hare at mekudesh that you're married to me, Amanat, on condition, She'en lach alai, you can't claim against me, She'er kisud va'onam, food, clothing, and relations, right? The three things that the Torah says a man's hayab for his wife. What if he says to her, I'm marrying you on that condition? The mayor holds, sorry, you can't stipulate, you can't make a condition against what Hashem says, the Torah says you have to do, and therefore they're married and he still has to provide it. Rabbi Yehuda says, regarding money matters, it works. The relations he has to do because no one else can provide that. And the money, she could figure it out. So now, maybe that's the same thing in us, the way the condition works against what the Torah says. The Gemara says the Maralach Rav Rav because not necessarily. I'm not that many I can even halak be that can look by it over there by the case of the marriage. Maybe Rabbi over there says it works because she knows what's going on and she still forgave it. Maybe did you know for sure that it was going to be a overcharge? No, maybe he just thought that if there's overcharge, but over here he didn't know for sure, and therefore maybe it was not forgiven. Well, Shmuel would also say that maybe it's different cases. Maybe I would agree, but according to the mayor, that there is that the condition about the condition. Maybe the mayor only said that by the case of the Torah with the marriage over there, he's definitely uprooting it by not providing money and food and clothing. In the case of fraud, who says that there will actually be at that moment for sure price for it. Maybe prices will change and there'll be no price for it. Therefore, maybe they would agree to each other. So not a good proof. Rabbanan says Shmuel taught me this personally. Someone tells his friend, condition you have no claim of fraud against me, and no alab there's no fraud, and it works. But if he says there is on condition there is no fraud in it, and he's guaranteeing there's no fraud, and then if there is he can claim a sale that was void because he lied to him. It was an error about the fact. Right? The fact was there was fraud, so you lied. Therefore, he can get a refund. Might have a question. I know someone who's trading on trust. You hire someone your salesman. You're telling him sale. Get the best prices you can, right? You're not on top of him on the prices. Someone tells his friend, or if someone tells his friend, on condition, you can't claim fraud against me, and no alavon you cannot claim fraud against him. Both cases, but the second case is the bigger problem. That in the case of a condition, you can stipulate that there's no fraud and it would work. But according to the opinion that hold that Rav had like Rabbi Yehuda, that says that you can't make that condition, yani it won't work. How does that fit? Maybe Rav would hold like the mayor that you can. Shmuel Damar Shmuel would hold like Rabbi Yehuda that you can't. Rav Amar different answer. Lo kasher. Kam bistam, kam befresh. In the case where it's unspecified, is different in the case where he specifies it. When do we say that the guy can claim fraud bistam, where he did not tell him he's being overcharged? But if he told him specifically, I'm selling to you for 200, it's really worth only 100. I'm selling it to you on condition you can't claim against me. He can't claim. You agree to the terms. So to the buyer told the seller, the item that I'm buying you for $100, I know it's worth $200. I know I'm underpaying you. I'm buying it on condition that you can't claim against me. In law, it works. You can't claim. And I said about someone who's trading on trust, like you have a salesman who's selling stuff for you. When he deals with the pricing, he can't tell him that, okay, the cheaper items, I trust you, but the more items I'm selling it to you on consignment. Right? You can't switch off on the type of item you're selling. Ella, ozev is it but whether you either give both on trust, or you give both on consignment. Then kataf, and both ways you have to reimburse him for his expenses, his fee for transporting, sachar gamal for camel's fees, sachar pundak if he had a hotel fees, sachar asmon enotel, he doesn't pay for a fee for himself for his own labor. Because he already paid him. So where is he paying him from? If we're talking about a case where he's selling garments, I have Abalama'eh where he gives him 4 for every 100. Yani he gets 4% fee. Every 100 garments, he keeps 4. Okay. New Mishnah. So we mentioned previously that there's fraud in coins, in money, in sales, but it's also fraud in money. So if they're selling, they used to sell coins that were worth money because of the metal value. So if the coin got eroded, the value dropped. So what's considered the missing amount from a coin to be considered a fraud? How much can a sale be missing and there won't be fraud when using it? Rabbi Meir says Abba Isarot, 4 isars per sela, which is isar dinar, which is 1 isar per dinar, which is 1 out of 24. Your fraction. So let's say a regular sale is 1 out of 6. Over here, we're talking about by coins, 1 out of 24 is a good purchase. If it's missing 1 out of 24, it's a good purchase. Rabbi Meir says, Arba pundiot, 4 pundiot per sela, pundian dinar, which is 1 pundian per dinar, which is 1/12 fraction. Rabbi Shimon says, Shmona pundiot, 8 pundion per sela, shne pundianim dinar, which is 2 pundian per dinar, which is 1/6. So Rabbi Shimon holds by items, general sales, and coin sales. In coins, the fraction that we're worried about is 1/6, which does it pretty well. If you're not sure what's going on with the coins, you could look at Art Scroll or the WhatsApp chat that we sent. You could figure out what exactly is going on. Different coins are worth different amounts, and that's how we got these numbers. How long after you got a coin, you want to return it? How much time you have to return it? Back in large cities, in those time to show it to a money changer to validate it. But in villages, you don't have money changers there. You have to wait till Shabbat till you try to use it in a store in the market, and then you'll find out that it's not good. That's how long you have. Okay. The guy who got the coin recognized it was a bad coin. Even after 12 months, he could get a refund. And he can't just complain. He can only complain against him. He can't force him to do anything. We'll explain it in the Gemara. You could also use it for Ma'asher Sheni without worrying about it. Because someone who refuses to take a damaged coin is just a bad person. He's annoying for not accepting a bad coin, but you should be able to accept a bad coin, albeit at a cheaper price. We're going to explain all that in the Gemara. Okay, but in the Gemara. Our Mishnah said that that the amount that the coin got missing, that's how much you could still use it for. I'd come to house that the Braita says, however, how much can a coin be missing? Be a fraud to it, which means that if this is missing partial of the coin, then you can't use it. Our Mishnah said you can use it. The Gemara said, it's referring to from bottom to top. But the Braita, however, is going from top to bottom, meaning our Mishnah is talking about how much is the minimum amount that you could be missing and still use it, versus over there, it's talking about how much is missing that you can't use it. So what's the difference between a coin that you're discussing how much is fraud? Why is there by an item? There's no argument. How come by an item is 1/6 and a coin? There's no machloket on how much. Sorry, how come there's a machloket by coin, where that's 1/6, 1/12, 1/24? How much is considered fraud? But by items, everybody agrees it's 1/6. Rabbi Shimon is the one who told us about the talit, which he owes 1/6, which is the same thing by a coin. It says a different reason between a coin and an item. Talit shtut mahil inish. Clothing, a person is willing to forgive up to 6 because the amri inshi asik legavach, pay for your back. Shabbat could say pay for your stomach, meaning a person is overpaying because he wants himself to wear good clothing. That's why he forgives it up to the 6th. Sell about a coin, when the coin's not worth what it's supposed to be, lo mahili doesn't want to forgive it. Gufa, we said earlier. I'd come out to said earlier, how much from a coin be missing for be fraud? Now we're going to quote the whole thing. Meir says, Arba Isrot, 4 isars per dinar, Isal dinar, which is an isar per dinar. Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi Huda says, Dalet pundiot, 4 pundiot per sela, which is equal to 1 pundion per dinar. Rabbi Shimon says Shimona pundiot, 8 pundion per sela, which is shnei pundion dinar, which is 2 pundions for dinar. Yeter al ken, once you pass that amount, mochra b'shaveh, you sell it for what it's worth. You sell it for whatever fraction its value is. Shimon Gemara says, Ad kamat pahat v'yiher rashad l'kaima. How much can a coin be reduced and still be mutar to keep it? Besela ad shekel, with a seller you can keep it until a shekel. B'dinar ad rovat, with a dinar until a quarter. Right, interesting way of saying quarter. And b'hod misar asur. But if less than if the isar is less than this, it's asur. We'll think what asur means. Hazilam kinano, you can't sell it. Once it's been so eroded, you can't sell it even for a value. Lola tagar, lola haram, lola harak. Don't sell to a merchant, an extortioner, a murderer, because these guys are going to scam people. They'll scam others. Rather, you should pierce it with a hole. Make it into like a necklace for your son, for your daughter. We said earlier, Beisel at shekel with dinar rova, but sell until a shekel or dinar until a quarter. Maishnat beisel at shekel, but maishnat dinar rova. How come by a seller you can do half to a shekel, and a dinar you have to do a quarter? My rova diktanami. What does it say that it means a quarter? Rova shekel, quarter of a shekel, not a quarter of a dinar. Marava dekanami goes a proof from the wording. Dikatani rova because it says a quarter. V'loktani revia doesn't say a fourth. A fourth. Right, because 1 shekel going equals 2 dinars, then therefore if a shekel gets eroded until it's a single dinar, you could still use it as a single dinar. But therefore, it didn't say a quarter shekel. Okay. Sorry, that's why I didn't say a fourth. A fourth would have been 25%. Shamina. Therefore, it's referring to a quarter of a shekel, not a half a dinar. Or a half a dinar. Okay, so how come the Braita is referring to half a fraction of a dinar in terms of shekel? Why don't you refer to itself like a half a dinar, for example? Is teaching you something derech agav that the ika dinar up to the shekel, the dinar comes from a shekel. Yani 1 shekel equals 2 dinarim, etc. Listen to that. Rami to prove according to Rabbi Amir, because he says dinar havam shekel. If the dinar comes from a shekel, mutar lekamo, you can keep it. Dinar havam sela, the dinar comes from a sela. Asur lekamo, you can't keep it. Right, depending on the thickness, etc. Because the shape changes based on what type of coin it's coming from, like type of currency. Okay, we said earlier, asur isar asur. If it's the isar is less, it's asur. So my ikamar, what do you mean asur? It means if the seller becomes so small but deficient by isar that it's for fraud, asur, you can't use it at all by the value. The Gemara says, if you're talking about that you can't use it as the isar because it got reduced, not only $1 got cut, you can't use it $1, then what's the difference how much it gets? If it's less than 100%, then even 99%, how come we're talking about fractions of a 6th or 20th, etc.? Any amount. The Gemara says, no, if the seller became deficient by an isar per dinar, the amount of per fraud, considered fraud, asur, you can't use it at the value. Ustama Rabbi Meir, and it holds like Rabbi Meir, because he set the limit for it can be considered fraud an isar per dinar, and therefore, even according to the Meir's limit, you cannot be using it at that value. Rather, you probably have to announce when you're using it how much it is. Like, okay, this is technically an isar coin, but it's missing X amount, and yet that's what you would have to do when you're trying to use it.